What's up, Cinema Shogun here, and how many of you all have ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones? Chances are, if you've ever been down one of those conspiracy theory rabbit holes, they eventually led you to the Georgia Guidestones, especially if you were looking into things like population control. Well, shockingly enough, earlier today, part of the Georgia Guidestones just exploded. Apparently, someone placed an explosive device there, although they haven't been caught. And I actually have a video of that I'm going to show you all in just a moment. But first, I know a lot of you all have probably never heard of the Georgia Guidestones. So let me just give you a little bit of a background here. Now, it's kind of hard to explain what the Georgia Guidestones really are because no one really knows why they were put up in the first place. No one really knows who exactly put them up. There's a name attached to it, but it doesn't belong to anyone that anyone has been able to track down. But basically, the Georgia Guidestones are like guidelines to forming a new society, if you will. The person behind it supposedly had a prediction that there was going to be a catastrophic, cataclysmic, super crazy event that would wipe out most of the population of Earth. And eventually these people would find the Georgia Guidestones and would follow the various rules and, I guess, recommendations that were laid out on the Georgia Guidestones about how to start a new society. Now, it's been the center of a lot of controversies and conspiracies because people believe it's a push for population control. One of the things written on the Georgia Guidestones is basically something about keeping the Earth's population below 500 million. So, population control theories and Georgia Guidestones, they basically go hand in hand with one another. But here's just a few interesting facts about the Georgia Guidestones. Multilingual guidelines. A set of 10 guidelines are inscribed on the structure in 8 different languages. A shorter message is inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient language scripts: Babylonian, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. These guidelines are meant to be a guidestone to an age of reason. What is the age of reason? Well, supposedly, the age of reason will come about once the Earth is depopulated and we're only at about 500 million people left on the planet. Now, these guidelines were left in all types of different languages in the hopes that no matter who is left, if they find these guidestones, they will be able to read them or interpret them. It's even, some of the messages are even written in ancient languages that no one uses anymore. So that's kind of odd. Mind you, the Georgia Guidestones, they first popped up, I believe, in 1980, around 1980. So it's not like these things have been here since the beginning of time. Someone in, I'll say recent history because it's been within the last, 30 or 40 years. But yeah, these things haven't been around for, too long. The Georgia Guidestones are aligned with the stars and the earth. The monument stands on the highest point in Elberton, Georgia. It was purchased for $5,000. The capstone on top is astronomically aligned with the North Star, and there is an additional stone to the west of the structure. On it is inscribed notes and a history of the Guidestones. So it's kind of like the pyramids, if you will. They line up with certain stars, oddly enough. Now, I don't have time in this video to just go over the whole history behind the conspiracies of the Georgia Guidestones and the pyramids. I trust that you all at home can sit back and do a little research of your own. I can promise you, it will lead you down some interesting paths. And it's always good to know these things, The Guidestones also serve as an astronomical calendar. And every day at noon, the sun shines through a 7-8-inch hole in the center stone and illuminates the day's date on an engraving. Robert C. Christian, the man who commissioned the Guidestone in June 1979, although this is probably not his real name. This is just the name that was documented. He came to Elbert County to secure the granite slabs because he believed that the quarries here produced the finest stone on the planet. It would be the largest stones quarried in the county. 4 of them stand at 16 feet tall and weigh over 20 tons. The capstone weighs 25,000 pounds. Now, there's a lot of famous believers who look to the Georgia guidelines almost as if they're holy or something like that. I can't really describe the right word. But Yoko Ono describes herself as a supporter of the inscriptions on the stones, saying that the words are a stirring call to rational thinking. The call she refers to are instructions for basic concepts required to rebuild civilization following a nuclear doomsday. Of course, others believe it is an occult structure used for pagan rituals. So like I said, regardless of what your theory is behind these Guidestones, there's no denying the fact that there is some interesting stuff behind them. I mean, the guy who had these commissioned, supposedly he had these visions and knew that there was going to be this crazy world-changing event that would kill off tons of the human population, and that we would need these Guidestones to look to guide us into a new age, a new civilization. Now, a lot of people believe that these Guidestones are used for satanic rituals, occult rituals, and they believe it's the basis for kind of like the New World Order. I know y'all know there's a lot of theories out there about depopulation and about population control. And they believe that these Guidestones are going to be used after the plan is carried out to depopulate Earth. But hey, who knows? Some people believe that Ted Turner may be involved. Many locals around the stones believe that Ted Turner built the structure. One of the rumors here is that Ted Turner built them, and that it jives a lot with his beliefs, his big money, and his absolutely zany personality. The land on which the Guidestones sit is owned by the county. In 2014, there was a bout of vandalism on the stones, which led to the placement of 2 wireless cameras. Reportedly, the cameras were never powered, though. Now, I want you all to remember that. Remember that very clearly, because you're going to need to remember that in just a moment when we get into what happened here today. In 2015, a documentary was released that explains the connections to the Rosicrucians, the Freemasonry, and the United Nations. So there's a documentary out there. I'm not sure of the name of it. They did not list it here. If you all know the documentary, let everyone know down in the comments below. But it released in 2015, and it explains connections between these Guidestones and the United Nations and Freemasons and other groups out there. While most believe these are instructions for what to do after an apocalypse, some are fearful that the first rule is a call for genocide. Let's do the math. If humanity were reduced to only 500 million, it would be destroying over 80% of the world's population. So yeah, that's what I was telling you from the beginning. That one of the main things that sticks out here to everyone is the call for basically saying that the world only needs 500 million people. And that we need to regulate reproduction to the point where we could keep the planet at under 500 million people at all time. Now, if that doesn't freak you out, I don't know what does. I don't know what will. If that doesn't make you think, maybe there is a population control agenda out there that's being pushed by some people. You know, it's weird, right? It's really weird. Now, today, of course, the Georgia Guidestones were attacked or vandalized by someone with an explosive device. Let's watch the video and then I'll be right back. Okay, now that we've all seen the video, can you pause this video real quick and let me know what you think is suspect about this? Personally, I think it's weird that they have video of an explosive device destroying part of these Guidestones. Yet, as of now, as far as I know, there's no video of someone planting this device. That makes no sense to me. So you have cameras that could visibly see this thing exploding, but no cameras that could see a suspect leaving these explosives, setting these explosives up. Odd, right? It's almost as if they just want some newfound attention around these Guidestones. Maybe that's possible. Maybe someone was like, hey, you know what? I'm not down with this population control nonsense. I'm not down with the New World Order. I'm not down with whatever theory they have. And they went out there and decided to blow these things up. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, these Guidestones have always freaked me out. The fact that people look to them as if they're a good thing, and they're like, oh yeah, we should follow these beliefs of the Guidestone that says that over 80% of Earth needs to be murdered. Like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm sure the Hollywood stars are all like, yeah, this is what this is what really strikes me as odd. People who are pushing for this population control stuff. What if you're one of the 80% that has to go? You understand what I'm saying? You want the world, right, to be at under 500 million people. But you want to be one of those 500 million people. Am I correct? What if you're not? Idiots who push population control don't realize that you're probably part of the population that's going to be axed off. It never makes sense to me. But as far as I know, authorities don't know who the suspect is. They're looking for a suspect. No one's been arrested. There has been no proof that they have video evidence or pictures of someone setting up an explosive device, yet they have this video crystal clear of this thing exploding. Now let's go look at what the news has to say about it. State and local officials are investigating a bombing at a rural Georgia monument that some have dubbed satanic and previously called for its demolition. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations reported that just before dawn Wednesday, someone detonated an explosive device and damaged the Georgia Guidestones, dubbed by some as America's Stonehenge. Listen, no one calls the Georgia Guidestones America's Stonehenge. I promise you that. I can 100% guarantee you that I've never heard anyone say that a day in my life. In fact, most people don't even know these Guidestones exist. And if they did, they would probably be freaked out, you know? It's weird that the mainstream media and these people are dubbing this as, oh, this is America's Stonehenge. What? Some stone tablets on top of a hill that basically states that 80% of all human life needs to basically get expelled? Weird that they hold this to such high regards, right? It was erected in 1980. The massive granite monument is 7 miles north of Elberton, Georgia, near the South Carolina state line. According to the GBI, preliminary information indicates Unknown suspects set off the bomb at 4 a.m. Elbert County Sheriff's Office deputies who responded to the scene found the explosion destroyed a large portion of the structure. Elberton Granite Association Executive Vice President Chris Kubas told news outlets that the monument was significantly damaged. Pictures and drone footage show one of the 4 stone panels and rubble on the ground. I wonder if it's the one that was calling for population control. Although I guess all of them call for that, just in different languages. The roadside attraction was commissioned by an unknown person or group under the name R.C. Christian. It's 19 feet high and bears 10-part messages, a 10-part message in 8 languages. We already went over all of that stuff. Yeah, we already went over all of these facts. So basically, all in all, the news knows nothing at all other than this Guidestones got bombed and partially, like part of the Guidestones basically got blown to smithereens. They have video of it getting blown to smithereens, but no video of the people setting the explosions. Really weird indeed. But I want to know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. Have you ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones? If you haven't, do you plan on researching them? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all on the next video. Just a quick update for you all. This is actually breaking right now. They are completely demolishing the Georgia Guidestones. They did not wait to gather evidence as to who blew them up. No, they are now completely demolishing them. This is weird.